Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike here. Another video. I just got back from Tennessee and it feels really good to be home. I'm here smoking another cigar. Very good. So I'm actually sitting outside. We're gonna do the same thing as we did the other night. The stars are out. And actually, last night, I saw a shooting star. Like right as I wrapped up that video, I saw a shooting star, and it was great. So anyway, I'm gonna cut the lights off, and we're gonna go dark. It's gonna be another meditative sort of video. Today we're talking about not only focus, because I wanna talk about focus once again, but we're talking primarily about the law of rhythm and how there are different seasons of life. You know, nothing's permanent. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. All right, guys. So we're back with another meditative video. I'm beginning to really enjoy these, and I get the sense that you guys are too. All right, so meditative video numero dos. So I just got back from Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been traveling a really good bit. And whenever I'm in the car, it's good to understand some of these universal laws and apply them, because whenever I'm in the car, you know, there's a lot of pent-up energy because I'm driving and I'm soaking up the road, so to speak, you know, with my focus. And of course I'm listening to music and watching different self-help and personal development and spiritual development seminars and programs and different videos. But the transmutation of energy, there's a law that basically decrees that you can transmutate energy. So whatever energy is pent up in you, you can actually expel that. You know, there are different ways to view this, because some people, you know, this could be in the form of any energy. It could be negative or positive. But say it's a painful situation and you're sort of troubled, and you are, all this energy is getting pent up in your system and in your bloodstream and in your muscles, and really it's getting pent up in the mind with your spirit. Well, we must learn how to transmutate that. So basically, I've been making videos on the road, and that's what I did earlier. Now, usually I don't do the double dose, but today I was feeling good. Tonight I was feeling really good. And any energy that we, you know, might perceive as painful, that energy too can be transmutated. So look into this universal law for sure. But onward to the topic. So last night's topic was over focus. That was sort of a meditative video that we all enjoyed. And tonight's is, you know, I'm going to talk about focus a little bit, but first and foremost, I want to talk about the law of rhythm, because this was really on my mind. Basically, the law of rhythm is that nothing is permanent. There is no permanent stage of life. You know, we're either going through a flourishing season in our life, or things are more tight and not necessarily crumbling apart, but we are put under pressure. You know, we just got out of a relationship, whether that was a healthy or unhealthy relationship, you know, that say that fell apart. I'm just giving examples now, right? But say that's one thing. You know, we can't make finances meet, you know, we can't meet our financial needs at the moment. That would be sort of a financial crisis. It could be a relationship crisis, financial crisis, health crisis. You know, you could have gotten struck with a disease, or you found out that someone close to you, you know, because it doesn't even have to be you. It could be somebody that you really care about that was struck with an illness, and maybe their finances are a little bit off as well. But whether it's considering, we have to consider all aspects of life: happiness, health, wealth, relationship, and career or job opportunities. And sometimes all areas will be in full balance and they will be in full harmony. And we typically have a sense of satisfaction that's met whenever we aren't, whenever we are no longer put under those pressures. And then maybe an area of our life begins, sort of, and the way that I like to put it and see this as far as like perspective goes is whenever we are getting sort of crunched in an area and we feel like life is pressuring us and putting pressure on us. Again, I mentioned this in several different previous videos. There's a reason for that, and we use our higher faculty perception to understand that, okay, I'm gonna see this as a good thing because life's causing me to grow. Life wants me to grow. Even through pain, we can grow. We can choose to grow through pain. We can choose to grow through failure. It's what we do in response to that. It is said that reacting we do automatically, but in order to respond, we have to think. Now, I'm going to repeat myself because this is really important to grasp this concept. Reacting, we do naturally. We do automatic. Doesn't take any thought. But to respond to any given situation or circumstance, we have to think. We have to use our higher faculties, guys. We can't just walk around and pretend that things are happening just because, and then create this weird meaning that life's bad and life hates me and God hates me and why is everybody else lucky and why am I getting the bad edge of the sword? Guys, nuh-uh. This is about the law of rhythm. Bad times are gonna come, period. Those unfavorable circumstances, they're going to find a way in to our lives. Imagine a garden, right? And the garden is our life. There's going to be weeds, okay? No matter what, there's going to be weeds in that garden, whether we like it or not. And we're going to have to kill off those weeds in a more natural form, I don't suggest using Roundup. I don't suggest putting a negative on a negative. And for example, Roundup to a garden, to weeds, because Roundup might destroy some of the good too. And if it doesn't, it's not healthy for the good. It's not healthy for the good plants. But in relation to, a real life situation, say that you're struggling to make financial ends meet. Well, the Roundup in this situation would be going out and binge drinking. Or it would be going out and gambling. It would be doing something in order to satisfy the temporary need instead of using a good to combat the bad. So you see that reference there and that comparison and that perspective. We must use our higher faculty perception, guys. We really must. We must get in this success frame of mind. We must focus on the good. We must use our higher faculties and not just merely react to life. How many people are just reacting to everything? Did you know that the minute you react to something else or someone else, you put them in charge of you? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live that way. Stop allowing others to control you. We must think for ourselves. And whenever these situations are happening and we're going through a crisis or multiple crises, it's an opportunity to grow. You know, if we are ever confused with anything, with any given situation, and we don't have any clarity, stick with it for a little bit. Stick with it. Because out of all confusion comes order. A higher degree of order, that which existed prior to the confusion. Are you going through a crisis? Advancement of all kinds is preceded by a crisis. Advancement of all kind is preceded by a crisis. If you're going through a crisis, use your higher faculty perception. And if you see it as it really is in the truth of spirit, then we will understand that we have the power over it. It doesn't have to have power over us. The trouble doesn't have to have power over us. We have power over it because we decide what things mean. Is this the end or the beginning? Advancement of all kinds is preceded by a crisis. And we must understand that through the law of rhythm, we're going to have crises. Yeah, for sure. You can't avoid it. But see, nothing is temporary, or nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary, but nothing is permanent. So understand that if you're going through an unfavorable time in your life, that this is governed by the law of rhythm. And I explained last night, I clearly explained last night that I gave this example of gravity. We can see the effects of gravity, but we cannot see gravity itself. We can see the effects of the law of attraction and the law of vibration. We can see the effects, but we cannot see the law themselves. We can't see the laws. Now, we do see the law of rhythm within the changing seasons. We go from summer to fall to winter to spring to summer. And there's that cycle. In the same way, we go through cycles and seasons of life. We must accept this. We must accept this. We must accept that there is a law of rhythm that we cannot see, but we do see the effects of it. Can't see gravity, but we can see the effects of gravity. I mean, we could take any law of the universe. We could take the law of compensation, the law of cause and effect, the law of opposites. We could take any one of these laws. And we can see the effects of the laws. But because we can see the effects, we must understand that they are, in fact, a higher order. And this higher order throughout the universe is not going to change. It's not going to change. We must adapt to the change. And we must expand our awareness to adjust to the changing tides, the changing seasons. Advancement of all kinds is preceded by a crisis. Spring. Opportunity in the spring. What comes before that? Well, winter. So, towards the end of winter, we don't say, it's never going to get warm again. Now, we might kid ourselves and think, okay, it's never going to get warm again, but surely enough, every single time, every single year, the seasons prove themselves exact. Just like this changing seasons, the law of rhythm is just like the law of gravity. It's in place. It's not going to change. Now, sometimes, some winters might be harsher than other winters, of course. Heck, we might get so out of balance that we might have a really nasty spring or summer. It might rain all spring, and it might be over 100 degrees in the summer. We can't even stand to be outside. Maybe it rains all fall. we're going to have a little bit different change in the seasons. But we do know that if we're going through a really stormy time in life, and there's a lot of storms happening, you best believe that is governed by the law of rhythm, and that it is literally decreed that you will come out of that. You will come out of that crisis. It's a law. It's the law of rhythm. You can't change it. Guys, this is a set law. So understand that even through pain, we decide what that pain means. And if we come into the awareness that, okay, this is governed by the law of rhythm, it's a season of my life. It's not going to last forever. And similarly, the good times in life are not going to last forever. You'll be hit by barriers. Fall and winter always come after summer. Spring and summer, which are typically better seasons than not. It's warmer. Depends on where you're living too in the world. Don't get it twisted. Because from what I understand, when it's summer here around the United States, down in Antarctica, their seasons are really sort of messed up. And I'm not going to say messed up, but it's different because it's relative to the location that they're at and the Arctic. And during the summer season, it's the winter down there. So it's all relative. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the law of relativity, but look these laws up, guys. Look up these universal laws. If you don't believe this information, it's out there, ready for you to learn and to know and to understand. Gain the knowledge, because the knowledge comes first and the results come later. So that's what we do. We use a higher faculty perception during any crisis. Sometimes we self-impose our own crisis. Now, that's taking it a step further. But notice that sometimes we actually bring the crisis on ourselves. Addiction is said to be never getting enough of what you don't want. Just like we talked about in the first dark episode, meditative episode. It's how we see it. These crickets. Now, I'm guessing these are crickets. Because sometimes I hear frogs, but I don't know if that's coming through on the end of the audio. Like, I don't know if my phone's picking up the sound of the grasshoppers and crickets around here. I actually think it's quite peaceful. There's not a cloud in the sky, by the way. As I look up, I sort of, you can tell in these videos I digress quite a bit. But see, hang tight, bear with me, because there's a lot of good information that I'm pouring out here too. But last night or the other night, I was out here, and I'm not kidding. As soon as I finished up the video that I was recording on my phone here for YouTube, there was a shooting star, and it was so beautiful because it went across, like this section of sky, and it was so fast. And it's like, wow, man, there's a lot of stuff out here in space. It wasn't the space station. It was a shooting star. Unbelievable. I spent quite a bit of time down in Florida, and there was, you get afternoon storms. But not only that, it might be sunny earlier on in the day, at least this time of year where it's tropical storm season. It's coming on hurricane season in the Gulf and in the Atlantic. And typically it's quite gray outside, and it gets very overcast, gets very gray. And it's funny because I come back here to Indiana. I'm actually living in Indiana, if you're wondering. And here in Indiana, during the summers, especially late July into August, we get a lot of clear skies like this almost consistently. The weather's been phenomenal. But see, I went from completely overcast and gray like every single day for about a month down there, whenever I was down there for about a month in Florida. And I come up here and it's like, wow, man, the law of rhythm. Like, seriously. And hey, even if you stayed down there, even if I were to stay down there, law of rhythm's going to act in accordance with the seasons, so, and with the weather patterns. So eventually the sun would brighten up, and that typically happens in the fall and the winter down there on the coast of Florida. And it's very similar weather pattern that we have here in the summer. It's very clear. You can see every star in the sky, and I just love these nights. But see, it takes darkness to appreciate the light. That was strong. That was strong. It takes darkness to appreciate the light. The law of rhythm is in effect at all places, at all times. Every law is in place at all places at the right time, so that we may come to know it. So that we may come to know it better, have a greater awareness, understand that you can't have hot without cold, in without an out. The law of opposites. A right without a left, an up without a down. I mentioned in the hey, check out the, by the way, guys, YouTube family, check out the about section of this channel after you're done watching this video. And feel free to go back and watch the other videos as well. But check out the About Me section, because it gives sort of what you're getting on the channel. Because you might wonder, okay, I kind of understand what you're talking about here, Mike, but what's the long-term gain here? You know, what kind of knowledge are we really going to be discussing on this channel? And that I have all of that in the channel description, which I believe you can find in the About Me section on my page, on my actual YouTube channel. So check out the About Me section. It tells us like what we're going to be talking about here on this channel, and there's going to be many more videos to come. I can't wait to begin live streaming. Now, I believe that we must reach, YouTube changed it, I believe that we must reach together, I think it's 1,000 subscribers. It's either 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. In any event, we must reach a couple thousand subscribers before I'm even able to live stream. Because YouTube changed their policy to where you have to have so many subscribers in order to live stream. And I would love to live stream in real time with you guys about some of this, you know, informative information and the laws and the universal laws. I love these topics. I'm very passionate about it. I've been studying personal development for well over a decade, and I'm in love with the subjects. I told you guys one of my goals, and it all starts here on YouTube for me, but one of my all-time goals is to become a speaker, a well-known author and speaker. And I think I'm off to a pretty good start. Now, I'll be 26 in November, so I believe that my dreams can definitely become a reality, and I'm going to keep repeating a lot of the information that you're hearing in these videos. And we're going to keep on growing and building together as a family, as a YouTube family. Because I care about you guys, I really do. Just like I do myself. But I want you guys to really get this information in your soul and in your spirit. You know, law of rhythm and the law of opposites. And understanding these laws more in depth. Because a lot of us don't actually take time out of our day to study this information. And through these meditative exercises in the dark here, I think we can better understand the information. Instead of just watching somebody talk, you know, maybe get bored with that. You know, you can lay down and almost listen to this as a meditative exercise. I think that would be brilliant. I think that's a brilliant idea. And you'd be able to gather so much information within a relatively short amount of time listening to this content. So soon we are going to end off the video. I didn't want it to reach 30 minutes long, but these episodes will be in the form of 20 to 30 minute podcast sessions. You know, just like the law of receiving, you know, and the law of giving. You know, and the law of gender. You know, these laws decree what you put out, what you give out. By law, has to return itself back to you in some form or another. And again, it's just another universal law that we have to understand, because we either live in accordance, we either live in harmony with these laws, or we lose. Like I said, we must use our higher faculties. And we'll go through our higher faculties in future videos. But I want to keep everything within the topic and sort of relative as we speak. Because tonight was about the law of rhythm. And we talked a little bit about focus as well. But just remember that. Yeah, if you ever go through a bad time, it's by law decreed to end. You know, in some form or fashion. But we also must use our perception to understand that these are written laws. These are laws that are never changing. They are constant. And these laws give us order. These laws give us appreciation for the finer things in life, like happiness, health, and wealth. So I'm going to end this video on a quote that I came across. Now I came across this, I've heard this quote before, just like, because I've had my nose in the material for so long now. Now I might butcher this a little bit, because I don't remember word for word, but Thoreau once pointed out that if we hold steadfast and we endeavor to live the life that we've imagined for ourselves, and we hold that, the life that we've imagined for ourselves, if we endeavor to live that life and push past the pain, push past these obstacles that don't even have to be obstacles, they're opportunities for clarity, they're opportunities for growth, we will come across success in common hours. We will reach success in common hours. The law of gender. Each seed has a gestation and incubation period, which means that there's a certain time between planting the seed and then reaping the harvest. It works with all physical seeds. Why doesn't it work with imaginative seeds in our mind? Seeds that we've planted in our mind? Well, the answer is they do. It does work the same way. Law of gender works the same on ideas that we've planted for ourselves in our mind. And these seeds will eventually flourish because it's a law of the universe. So that's about it. Just about hitting 30 minutes here. So guys, give some gratitude today. And give some thanks. Look up at the stars. And if you're watching this during the daytime, just find something to be grateful for today.